Welcome into Inside F&M Wrestling, the EIWA preview. I'm Jack Keffer alongside head coach Mike Rogers and 125-pounder Edgar Garcia. Guys, thanks for joining me today. Of course, we're looking forward to the EIWA. That's the big tournament this weekend. But let's look back on the two dual meets, Millersville and Princeton. A big win in the Rupp Cup against Millersville, 8 out of 10 matches. And then against Princeton, there were 3 or 4 really close matches there that came down to wire. Edgar had one of them, a 4-1 decision. And then also a big win from Jimmy Stillerman as well. Can you kind of talk about the Millersville match and what that means, confidence level for you guys, and also the Princeton match and how you matched up with a very good team?
Yeah. Well, the Millersville match is always a good match for us. It's like I said before, it's kind of you wrestle for pride. You know, they're right in their backyard, so to speak, and we have that Rupp Cup, and it's been going, something to give our guys something to shoot for. It's a streak we want to keep alive. It's we 7 years now going on, hopefully 8 and continue. So it's more for pride, because they're not in our conference, but it is such a close team. You like to. I think that's good for the sport too, to have rivalries, to have a team to kind of get motivated for, whether it's a conference or a in-state or in this particular in town rivalry. So it was good. I think we wrestled well. I think we won, I think, 8 out of 10 matches, and even those we dominated in the match. It was a good kind of tune-up for our guys to kind of put together some of the things that we've been working on their feet, on top, on bottom, and trying to not only win matches but kind of extend the lead and not just be happy with a 1-2 decision, try to get, the majors and the falls and the pins. And, there were some good matches. Argas won a match at heavyweight in overtime, which is, I think, his first college match win. But it was kind of exciting. The whole bench was going nuts. By then we had the match wrapped up. So it was just nice to see the team get excited for him to get his win and do it in overtime and everything that kind of went into it. It was a nice kind of way to nice team kind of bonding, seeing everyone so excited for him to get that win.
And then talking a little bit about Princeton, close matches there. I know Edgar had a really tight match, 4-1 loss, but there were some really good matches in between there that could have swung either way. Can you kind of talk about how that is preparing your guys for EIWAs as they wrestled some very talented wrestlers from Princeton?
Yeah, I think the Princeton match was a good, that was an in-conference match, so there was a lot on the line, potential seeding opportunities or seeing these guys, coming this weekend. So it was good for us to kind of go up against a team like that. We knew, overall they were probably better on paper, but I think we fought every single weight class. We gave them a battle, and that was our main goal, just go out there and perform at your maximum effort. Where the match falls, not as important as your effort that you put out there. And I think in terms of effort, I think all our guys wrestled, gave us 100% of their effort, especially Edgar. Had a really good kid. I think there's a couple questionable calls. You change those decisions. It's a tight match. And he's been doing a better job of putting more combinations of techniques together. Edgar's a little bit of undersized 125-pounder, which is not an excuse, or it just means he has to go about it a little bit differently. He has to put more combinations of things together, get guys tired, and use his speed and quickness, which I think he showed against the Princeton match, and I think it's a nice kind of launching point to get into the conference. If he continues the progress he's doing, it's going to be really interesting to see where he ends up.
Edgar, some good matches for you against Millersville, obviously the win, and then Princeton, a really tight matchup against the number 33 ranked wrestler in the 125 weight class. For you, you are an undersized 125-pounder. How do you use that to your advantage, and also, what are you looking forward to with the EIWAs?
Undersized, like Coach said, is really not an excuse. I trust in my conditioning and Coach's training. He gives us the confidence to go out there and just perform our best every match. So I just use my conditioning and just trust in that a lot. And then this weekend I'm excited because you get to wrestle with some of the best kids in your conference. Anything can happen in a tournament like that. You just got to put some good matches together, and that's really what I'm looking forward to, is just getting some matches back that I lost some close ones throughout the season. So I'm looking forward to that.
What do you think has been working to your advantage this year? What have you worked on, and have you seen improved in your wrestling style?
Again, it goes back to my conditioning and using that to my advantage, but also not just motion, but putting moves together, putting 2-3 moves together to get to an attack. And keeping that high pace constantly putting pressure on guys. That's kind of what I've been working on, and I've seen sort of improve.
Coach, before we move on to the EIWA preview, we got to talk a little bit about the National Collegiate Open. Paluzzi finished third, and Culp finished fifth. We've talked about Paluzzi and his success so far this season. What about Brett Culp, a redshirt freshman whose name we haven't heard much, and he's going to be a big impact in the lineup next season?
Yeah, Brett's a great addition to our program, and the reason why you haven't heard much about him is he had dislocated his shoulder over the summer, which was something he had going into his high school career that we just now addressed and took care of. So he was actually just now coming off of surgery, rehab, and then slowly working into actually competing. So he's just now able to really go full throttle. So his summer is going to be important, but it was kind of a glimpse to see what his ability is just wrestling at the National Collegiate Open. That's his second tournament, I think, of the season. And he did really well with some good kids. So our future looks bright. Even all those, Cole Aaron, all those guys, our freshman class that all competed out there. It's really exciting. There are a lot of them. The other guy you haven't heard much of is Steven Marcadante. Same thing, shoulder injury coming in. We had to have it repaired. And once we get him on the mat, and this summer is important for those guys because they missed a lot of competition time. But a lot of names you're going to be hearing here next couple of years are going to have a big impact, and Brett Culp's one of those.
Edgar, I know that you and Brett Culp actually drill during practice. What is that like? What have you learned from him, and how has wrestling with him in practice kind of pushed your game forward?
One of the biggest things that he's helped me with is my bottom work. I noticed that this year I've gotten out a lot more than I have in past years. His riding, his top game is very good, so that's helped me. And then also the fact that he's a bit bigger than me, it just helps me get used to wrestling guys that are bigger. But yeah, he's a great partner. He pushes me in the room. I push him in the room. It's awesome.
Moving on to EIWA's, Coach, kind of what are you doing to prepare your team for a big weekend against the conference and what should be a great tournament?
Right. Well, right now it's more of the mental preparation. I think physically our guys are in shape, they're ready to go. So really just focusing on getting guys healed up, getting them recovered as much as possible. We've dealt with numerous injuries this season, more than I can remember in years past. So really, I think the most important thing we're trying to do is get guys as close to 100% as possible. The training staff has been doing a wonderful job of trying to get guys back in the lineup and get them healthy. And also just tapering down our training. I tell our guys, you can't get in shape in 2 weeks, you can't get out of shape in 2 weeks. So we're not going crazy and trying to go nuts and now we're going to start pushing hard for the end. You've done your job, you've done your work, trusting your training, believing that everything you need to do, and it's now just that mental part of it. So we come in our practice a short, about an hour or so, just getting them sweating, kind of more just working off some of that nervous energy, and just having guys like this. Edgar is a perfect example. He's the smallest guy with the biggest heart. I love starting our dual meets off and starting to turn them off with Edgar because he motivates me and everyone else because he is a little bit undersized, but he doesn't use that as an excuse. He's been dinged up the whole season, but he's wrestled through adversity. One of the advantages, because he's not cutting a lot of weight, he can take some time off and let that knee recover and heal, but he makes no excuses. And I've asked him, a couple times, I stopped asking him, how's the knee? He's like, doesn't matter. So the smallest guy with the biggest heart on our team. And so if we had everyone that had his type of heart and desire, it'd be really impressive. But he sets the tone for the whole team, from even the dual meets in the tournaments. So and I think everyone has their right mindset right now. Everyone's focused on one match at a time. Seedings are just someone's educated guess. There's 1 through 8 is going to be different by the time the tournament's all over. So and anyone can get in the NCAA tournament, and that's how we look at it.
Edgar, some great words from your coach there in terms of being a leader on the mat, off the mat. I know that your left knee has been taped up for quite some time now. How are you health-wise right now, and also what's your mindset going into it?
Wrestling's wrestling. You're gonna get dinged up, so that's all right. You just got to do your best to heal up, do the rehab, and then just honestly just toughen up and just fight through it. I guess I do it mostly for the team. Like I couldn't not wrestle for the team. Like that's my mindset going to match. Just wrestle hard for the team. So whether I'm injured or not, pain's gonna hurt a little bit, but that's it. So.
Well, best of luck, Edgar. Besides Mr. Garcia right here, any other F&M wrestlers that we should be looking out for during this EIWA tournament?
Yeah. Well, I think all our guys, are going to, make some noise there. But, I think some of the key guys to key on is Anthony Mancini's had a great season. They're taking 7 out of that weight class. So he has a great opportunity to get there. Rob King, the kid definitely did there. Patty, Quinlan, Danny Martaccio. All those guys have shown glimpses of being an NCAA qualifier caliber guy. So, and last year we had Pelusi get through and beat a lot of seeded and ranked guys to get in. And if our guys get hot and they know all the technique and they start believing it, and you never know, that one match kind of sparks something in them that they start on a roll. I think any of our guys are dangerous. I think we got a lot of dangerous guys on our program that can put guys to their back, and you never know the other guy's mindset. If they're not doing things right and they're kind of waiting for the end to be over, they're just looking for an excuse to end it. And if we push the pace and push our tempo, that could be the tipping point. So I put all our guys. Right now the record's 0-0. And there's a stamp on anyone's foot saying you're an NCAA qualifier, you're not. So everyone's equal in our mind, and we're just gonna go out there and fight and scrap and see where things end up.
Hard work and conditioning for these F&M wrestlers will hopefully lead them to victory during the EIWA tournament. That will be at Bucknell this weekend, March 4th through 5th. You can follow the action on GoDiplomats.com. Guys, thank you for joining me, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.